So if you notice that this is actually formative 5, we are going completely out of order with these formatives just to go along with how I laid out this unit. So I have them not labeled by number, but labeled by what the content of the formative is. So for this specific formative, we're going to compare slope and y-intercept, which is what we've been working on. So use the functions f of x and g of x to complete the comparison statements using less than, greater than, or equal to. So we're going to look at f of -5 and g of 5. So this is when x equals -5 and when x equals 5 for each of the functions. So for this first one, f of -5, we'll plug in -5 for x and solve. So f of -5 equals 5 minus 5, which f of -5 equals 0. Okay, so -5 equals 0. If you want to write that down here, you can. And then g of 5, so when x equals 5, okay? X, when it equals 5, is going to be 3. Okay, so we'll write 3 here. And then we'll just use our comparison less than, greater than, equal to symbol. 3 is, in fact, larger than 0. Now we're going to look at the slope of f and the slope of g. Remember, slope is rise over run. It's also the difference of the y's over difference of the x's. It's our m value. Any one of those, that's what we're looking for. So for this first one, y equals mx plus b. Our m value is what? Well, there's no number here, but we can always just imply a 1 in front of the x because it's not going to change the number when we multiply it. So like 2 times 1, still 2. 1 times 3, still 3. The 1 didn't change anything. So our slope for f of x is -1. And the slope for g requires just a little bit more work. We're going to take the difference of the x's. So -10 to -5, we'll add 5. -5 to 0, we'll add 5. 0 to 5, we'll add. And then the same for g, -27 to 17, we are adding 10. -17 to -7, we add 10. -7 to 3, we also add 10. So the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's, we will have 10 over 5, which reduces to 2. So the slope of g is 2. You could also write it as 2 over 1 if you wanted to, if that helps you out a little bit more, whatever works for you. So comparing them, -1 is less than 2. And for the last one, the y-intercept of f and the y-intercept of g. So going back, let me switch colors because we got a lot of purple going on. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. B is our y-intercept, so -5. So write in -5, and then the y-intercept of g. Y-intercept is when x equals 0. Y-intercept in this one was b equaling something. So we'll look for when x equals 0. That's right here. And it looks like our y-intercept is 0, -7. So my y-intercept is -7. So my inequality, which one is bigger? -5 is larger than -7. If we looked at a number line, bigger numbers are which one is on the right, and -5 is on the right of -7. Okay, again, we're going to use the functions f of x and g of x to complete the comparison statements using less than, greater than, or equal to. So we'll do the same thing. We'll have to evaluate, we'll have to find the slope, and we'll have to find the y-intercept. So f of 1 when x equals 1, g of 1 when x equals 1. And this time we have a graph and a table. So the graph is f of x. So this is 1 right here. What does y equal? Well, y equals 1 as well. Okay, so when x equals 1, y also equals 1. So y equals 1. And then for g of 1, we'll go to the table. When x equals 1, what does y equal? It equals 5. So 5 is greater than 1. Then we'll look at the slope of f and the slope of g. For slope for the graph, remember I can find 2 nice points and I can count rise over run. So rise over run. I'm going up 1, 2, 3. And then rises, so we'll go up 3 over run. Run is left or right. So I need to go to the right 1 unit. So that's to the right 1 unit. So positive 3 over positive 1. My slope is 3. And then the slope for g is just like the first example when I had to calculate the difference of the x's and the difference of the y's and put them together. So difference of the x's, -2 to -1, plus 1, -1 to 0, plus 1, 0 to 1, plus 1. And for the y's, -7 to -3, we add 4, -3 to 1, we add 4, 1 to 5, we add 4. So it's difference of the y's over difference of the x's. So we have 4 over 1. So our slope is 4. All right, which one's bigger? Well, slope of g is bigger. 4 is bigger than 3. And then the y-intercept of f, we're going to look at the the y-axis. I'm just trying to change colors here. Where does our line cross the y-axis? Right here. When x equals 0, y equals -2. And so let's write that in, -2. And for this one, when x equals 0, y equals 1. So b equals 1. 1 is greater than -2. And then for the last question, we need to solve this inequality. So we have an inequality symbol. I'm going to treat it just like a equal sign for now. So I'll draw my line through it, and then I'll get all the x's on the left and all the numbers on the right. So let's see. Let's combine like terms first. So -5x plus 30 is less than 10x. Okay. Let's see. Let's move the 30 over. So we'll subtract 30 to both sides. -5x is less than 10x minus 30. We'll subtract 10x to both sides. And that equals -15x is less than -30. And then the most common mistake is dividing by -15 to both sides is going to flip my inequality symbol. So instead of less than, it's now greater than because I'm moving a negative to the other side. So that'll change the sign. -30 divided by -15 is 2. All right, so x is greater than 2 is your final answer.